Facebook. Good morning, everyone. Wait a minute. Let me get my camera going. Okay. Good morning, everyone. Hello, Facebook. Hello, Instagram. Um, Hello, YouTube. You know what? I always get confused with Facebook when it goes live. Forgive my hair. It's like it just became 6 o'clock in the morning out here on the West Coast. And so I just decided to go live because I was just really feeling like I needed to talk to you all about everything that's happening. Let me just line myself up correctly here. Okay. So it is 6 a.m. Pacific time, the day after the election, and my soul is on pause. On pause. And as usual, I'm looking at two different cameras, so forgive me. I'm looking at a Facebook camera and also looking at the camera on my phone. And normally on Wednesdays, I come to you guys with, just talking about Workout Wednesday. And I usually, do a little warm up with you and show you a little bit about my workout and talk about that. But, let's face it, this is kind of a weird, crazy day. And right now, my soul is literally on pause with everything that's happening with this election. I'm nervous. I'm not going to lie. And so I felt like instead of me, I still will be working out later, but it just feels like people need to hear or care more about the election right now. So I will be working out because working out is good for my sanity, and I highly, highly recommend it. Because again, the endorphins that you get from working out and exercising. Oh, let me scoot my chair a little closer. There we go. Okay, maybe that'll help. So it naturally does help us to feel good, right? So I definitely don't want to discourage anyone from working out, but today it just felt like it was more important to talk about the election and what's going on with that. And right now we're in a state of limbo. I know that Donald Trump declared the election his way, but all of the votes haven't been counted just yet. So I definitely feel, I'm very progressive in my views, and I think I've expressed that to you all before. And this is something that is hard for me right now to kind of sit and wait and not doing anything about. And because I do feel like I'm deeply worried of what happens if Donald Trump gets reelected. And I think like many of us, 4 years ago when it happened, it was a real shock to my system. And, because I think what he is kind of bringing to the forefront right now is a lot of, oh, man, I think he says a lot of things and has been behind a lot of things that feel racist and xenophobic and, you know, um, misogynistic and grabbing people by the you know what. And, you know, just I think it's not that he is the first politician to have these views. It's that he is kind of the first in a while, or at least on a presidential level, I think, who has just been so open about it and has kind of really, uh, you know, it's been proven that he said maybe over 30,000 lies or something to that extent. And, I think he's made a lot of people feel who don't, who maybe haven't learned about other cultures or haven't learned as much about people of color, women, or LGBTQIA people in their schooling or in their education. It's made a lot of people have fear, and when people have fear, it can turn into hatred. They can express. He has successfully told a lot of people that their problems are due to specific groups, and that you kind of have to deal with everything with a heavy hand of law and order. And that's scary to me because, quite frankly, if you study, authoritarian rulers, as I think many of us have in school, it seems to be a lot of that playbook. So there's a lot about this that makes me fearful, and I genuinely hope that this goes the way that I would like it to go. But I just wanted to come here and say, because I know a lot of us are on pause right now. Like I just it's unusual for me to be going live at this time of day, and it's because I just wanted to let you all know that I'm having, that I'm a human being having real emotions to it, and what I'm planning to do with it. Because last night, one of the things that I allowed myself to do I allowed myself to be tipsy as I was watching the election results. I gave myself a glass and a half of wine. It doesn't take much for me, you know. So I knew that I was like, the only way I'll get through this is to have a glass and a half of wine. I didn't even go live on Sunday because I was like, the anxiety of all of this was overwhelming. It was a lot, and I know a lot of us are kind of feeling in this, you know, in a holding pattern right now. You know, you might be feeling like, oof, what's going to happen? And no matter who you voted for, I think all of us are on pause right now. This is a frightening situation for me, and it does feel like life or death. I'm not going to lie. It really, really does. And so I hope, you know, like it's not over. So I'm also, the first thing I'm doing is reminding myself that this is not over. You know, all of the votes have not been counted yet. So I'm not going to count my chickens before they hatch, and I'm going to keep reminding myself, and I hope you do that too as well. The other thing I just want to say also as well too, and this is something that I just sent out to everyone on my mailing list. So if you are not on my mailing list and you'd like to be, you know, you could just message me and I'll add you. But one of the things that I said this morning was that, you know, Dr. King quoted somebody else when he said this, but he said, "The moral arc of history is long, but it bends towards justice." And the person before that, I forgot, I think it's like Theodore or something. At you know 6 a.m. it's a little difficult, but the arc of history is long, but it bends towards justice. So whenever I read that in moments like that, I get inspired, or at least I'm reminded that it's going to be okay no matter what. You know, when in 2016, when Donald Trump was elected, I kind of felt like the world had stopped, to be honest with you. And I'm a little worried about that happening again. But here's the thing that I know to be true. Human beings as a species, we've gone through things. We go through things all the time, right? And you know, some of us in the US, we have been starting to feel like, you know, we've gotten used to things looking a certain type of way, you know. And now I think a lot of us are in shock is because we didn't expect things to be so outward and to be it feels like things just kind of um if to me it feels like um Donald Trump with his openness about everything that he's feeling all the time came up and it felt like it just kind of took over in this really quick kind of way. Like I just feel like everything was so accelerated with his candidacy back in 2015 and then election. And I feel like it's just everything has been so accelerated, right? And so maybe I feel like I just haven't been able to pause and catch a breath. And it's a weird thing for me because I've I've been an activist. I was born into activism here in the Bay Area. So I've been exposed to like injustice and oppression my whole life. But it just the rate at which all of this happened just caught me off guard, I think, as maybe with a lot of people. But what I do want all of us to remember and recognize is that even though it might seem like things are weird, and again, I'm not saying the election is not over, right? But no matter what happens, I know that even though the arc of history is long, it does bend towards justice, and it's true. Human beings over time, we have evolved, we have worked and bled and sweat for societies that are better. You know, we have the people who have come before us have fought and died for us to be living in better situations than they were, and we have to continue on with that fight. We're not exempt from that. So what that helps me do is number one, no matter what happens, I will. So whether or not I get the outcome of this election that I need for my soul, right? And I'm feeling really happy and I'm celebrating, or that it is a reelection that challenges my spirit a little bit, I will mourn. I will sit with those feelings. I will allow myself and give myself permission to feel those feels. But then I'll remember that I have power and that I have agency and that I come from a long line of people in the human race, right? Who have fought and who have, you know, dealt with challenging and crazy and difficult situations before me, right? And who did not give up, right? Who may have gone through it, who may have felt sad, who may have had to mourn, but who did not give up. And so that helps me to recognize that, like, okay, this is a longer thing. This is a marathon, not a sprint. and that one way or the other, we're going to get through this. We have no choice. Okay. And if you need to check in with someone, if you need to check in with me, you see, I'm up here at 6 a.m. because I need this therapy right now of doing this video. Just definitely reach out to me. I would love, love, love to support you. We got this. Okay. And, no matter what happens, we're going to get through this together. We are going to get through this together. The arc of history is long. The arc of morality is long, but it does bend towards justice. When the Pope, made that declaration about civil unions, sure, it for a lot of people maybe felt like it didn't go far enough, but just think about this. A thousands-year-old religion all of a sudden declaring support for civil unions with gay people is incredible, right? So we are taking steps, and we are on our way. We can do this. We can, we can fight back. We don't have to be passive. We don't have to give up. All right. So with that, I hope you guys all have a wonderful day. Just take the time that you need for you. You deserve it, and we got this together. All right. Bye, everyone. It's not over.